To anyone that has ever played an Atlus game, I don't think it comes to anyone's surprise when I say that Atlus is an amazing company. For the most part. But hey, they make great video games, oftentimes with masterpiece stories or masterfully crafted characters that feel like real, genuine people. But usually, with Atlus I associate dark and grim stories about the world ending or a massive calamity that has struck either humanity or a small group of people. So when I saw Catherine's horny ass box art and the Atlus logo plastered on it, I wondered what type of game it was. I mean, it doesn't look like an Atlus game. It isn't SMT, so I just had to try it out and see what they do outside of SMT, and well, it was one of the most unique games I've ever experienced. Catherine was described to me as a romantic horror, to which I had no clue as to what that was. I mean, I haven't played a romantic horror game, so I was wondering what that means, and I think I understand now what those people meant. It's a weird game, a game where you go through horror trying to juggle and run between two relationships while moving blocks to climb up a giant fucking tower at night in your dreams, where you die if you fall off or get killed, by, I don't know, a mechanical robotic baby along with thousands of sheeps. Oh, and then you go drinking with your friends during the day, cause fuck yeah, alcoholism rocks. It's at the same time the most chill and yet the most intense game of all time. One moment you'll be drinking with friends and learning alcohol trivia by getting drunk, and the other you'll be stuck climbing a giant ice tower where if your analog stick slides just a little too right or left, you'll end up sliding down and dying. Yeah. I mean, I never expected this to be a goddamn puzzle game. I mean, come on, does it look like a puzzle game? But even so, it's not like this game is a cakewalk. Some stages I found very difficult, although I guess that depends on the person. Still, go try the bonus Babel mode and that shit fucking kills me. It's not such a simple game as it seems. The gameplay always adds a new twist to it with each new zone you climb to, and it really makes you test and reevaluate your thinking. I think the gameplay is pretty fine, but I can see it not being everyone's cup of tea, and that's perfectly fine. But I do advise you, bear true with it, because I think Catherine's story is something that anyone can relate to in a much more broader sense. As I've said before, this game is intense, but at the same time, it's very chill and laid back when you're not pushing blocks around. Most of the time spent outside your nightmares is spent drinking with your friends and talking with the bar regulars. Listening to these people and their problems is kinda sad. You can hear some really messed up and mature stories where people fail to get over their trauma or regret growing up into the person they are today. The people you meet in the bar are also gonna appear in the nightmares as well, giving you insight into how fucked they truly feel in life. The social aspect in this game is great, and these side stories, tackling really hard and unique problems in such a mature way, definitely left an impression on me. Personally, I just love talking to Johnny and Orlando. There's something about these two both in the bar and the nightmares that make them so sad to watch to me. Did I mention this game has great characters? I didn't? Oh well. The real highlight of this game is very obviously the story and its characters, with the most fleshed out character being Vincent. I guess I can understand why people would hate Vincent, but I think that's just because he's a misunderstood character. Sure, he's a cheating jackass, but this is a fictional character, and I think you should have some understanding for him. I'm sure if all of us were given the chance to be in someone else's shoes and see how they think, we would come to understand their point of view, whether we agree with it or disagree. We shouldn't be so rigid when discussing fictional characters. Vincent doesn't cheat on his girlfriend because he isn't satisfied with her, he's cheating because he's indecisive and lacks the courage to take the next step in life. And that's very natural for all of us. Him taking the next step in life means that things will change, and we as humans are naturally opposed to change. We don't want things to change. We all want to stay in our comfort zones and act as if nothing's ever gonna change. Change is the scariest thing a human can come across, and we run away from it at all times. Vincent lacks the emotional maturity to move on and accept change and responsibility that comes with adulthood and being an adult. From now on, I will be calling the Catherine C and K respectively. It's when he meets C that he starts thinking about whether life really has to be this way, if he really has to accept responsibility for his actions and grow up, or if there's another way to live life freely. This sparks a debate in Vincent, which all the more makes it harder for him to decide where to go in life. It's two diverging paths and neither one of them is 100% right. It isn't so black and white for him to decide because what that choice essentially means is picking a way to live for the rest of his life. It's either Winston chooses complete and utter freedom and living in the moment at all times, or he goes for a more safer route of having a planned future and becoming a full-fledged adult, ready to take responsibility. Vincent sees that a life of order and stability means stopping to live for yourself and your own needs, and seeing now that it doesn't have to be this way, he hesitates to call it quits with C right away. He lacks the emotional maturity required to make a choice for his future because he himself doesn't really know what he truly wants in life. A life of freedom, where you only live for your own needs, or peace, where you, quote-unquote, sacrifice your own life for the sake of your family and the life of your friends. And I think that I personally resonated with Vincent's struggle in two ways. Sure, I never cheated or got into such a situation, and I never would, but I think I can more relate to Vincent's struggle with adulthood and maturity and his lack of courage to make that step forward. I struggle with commitment. I can't really explain why, and as much as I wish I could commit to someone, I fail to do so. I never cheat, but I do end up always breaking up. It eventually starts feeling like my own freedom is being torn apart, and eventually that relationship starts feeling like a chore. Sure, I've improved a lot over time, and I decided to stay single until I'm actually ready to fully commit to someone, but there's still that fear that I'll never be able to do that. I'm sure this is because I'm still an adolescent, but as someone who forced himself to mature and become an adult very early in his life, it's weird that this is the only thing I can't get past. I'm sure I'll be fine with time, but commitment to me always felt like being shackled into something. I think it could be due to hookup culture and love not really existing in that type of atmosphere, but even so, my experiences with women made me feel like I just simply cannot imagine being with someone forever. I'm sure when I find someone that I truly resonate with is when I'll be able to make that step forward and move on with life, but for now, I think I should just spend my time doing as much as I can to improve, but to also enjoy life and experience as much as I can before I, tie the knot. But I think I resonate with Vincent in non-romantic context. I'm very obviously worried about my future. I don't know what I'll do with my life. My entire life I believed I would do some job where I have complete freedom and flexible working hours. I always felt like working an office job would make me go insane eventually, but finding a job with such freedom is very hard, and almost all the professions where I can get such a job either don't earn a big pay, or are professions I'm not really interested in. Money is important to me, and despite me not liking those professions or not showing much interest in them, I was genuinely thinking about doing them despite everyone advising me not to. So I was kinda torn here. Do I do a job that I do not like but gives me the freedom to live my life however I want, or do I go with a safe route, where every day would end up turning more or less the same, where I would be guaranteed peace and security in exchange for my own freedom? Yeah, I opened up this channel because, obviously I wanted to, but I think there was a part of me that opened it up so I can be a possible career path one day, and because, to be fair, it doesn't get more free than this. So, I think Catherine is something I really needed now that I'm growing up and shaping to be a real adult. I decided to play it safe and study to enroll into my home country's most prestigious university anyway, as an engineer. Sure, I'll probably work an office job, and my freedom will eventually dissipate, but I don't think that life's all dark because of that. There's a reason families are built every day, and why people stay with the person they love. It's a good-ass feeling to be loved, and to give back that same love. Even in a life of monotony, where every day might seem the same, there will be pretty moments there, and you'll still be able to live your life and say it was fulfilling on your deathbed. I'm still keeping my YouTube channel, and I'll keep uploading stuff to it. Who knows if this will one day be my job, but even if it never goes to that extent, I think I'll still be happy with the way things are. Life isn't so black and white. There is no right or wrong answer, and each side of the spectrum presents its own problems, but I'm not gonna bet my future on something that may or may not happen, or a future where I'll do something I hate in exchange for my own freedom. I think Catherine really made me think about my own future and what to do when the time to step into adulthood comes. I think I stopped thinking that commitment means sacrificing your freedom. I think true love is when that commitment turns into sharing lives, because to be in love with someone means bearing the burden of your partner. It means that both of you live your lives for each other respectively. And I fully understand if people can't take that burden or if it's too much for them, because obviously it certainly is too much for me. I have a long way to go there, and I not only have to be commitment, but also sharing that burden too, and in that sense, I'm staying single to work on that. I think I'm done hurting people because of my emotional immaturity. Catherine is such a unique experience. There is quite frankly nothing on the market remotely similar to it, and I think it's just universally liked by pretty much everyone that has played it. It's just seriously an amazing video game, and to me personally, Catherine spoke to me about my own emotional immaturity born from me growing up too fast and becoming an adult way too early, about my own heart and committing to people, and that isn't so bad after all. Relationships are complicated and they hurt. Sure, you should take responsibility for your actions, but if you or your partner are unhappy with one another, then I feel you shouldn't force it. That would be a recipe for a life of misery. Then again, chasing after only your personal desires is a shallow life, a life that can be happy only for so long, and life isn't so simple. Sometimes you won't be ready for relationships or commitment. Other times you'll be unhappy and should just quit before hurting that person even more. Whatever the case may be, Catherine made me realize that stuff isn't so dark and that the future can be bright so long as I try to work hard for it and improve on myself. I will eventually have to make that next step and find the courage to enter the world of adults. But I think Catherine made me realize that no matter what I pick, I can always find happiness in life so long as I know what I'm searching for and so long as I keep bettering myself. This is a very short video, or well, relatively short compared to my last few ones. I think I never really intended it to be long though, because this is way more of a personal video than an exploration of Catherine's themes, and I think that's because Catherine to me is just a perfect illustration of what art can do, and that's, well, it's different for every single person, subjective to every single person. Every single person will have a different thing to take from this story, a different thing to learn, and a different thing to see in this story. Stuff that I might not see is stuff that is clearly in the center of someone else's viewpoint. And to me, Catherine spoke to me in a very unique and direct way, a very distinct way, and a very broad way. And I love this piece of media. I think that Catherine is something truly unique, and if you haven't played it, I think you genuinely should. Anyways, I don't do these outros very often, because I just don't like doing them anymore, and I think it's just, the video just looks pretty and feels better when I don't do them, but even so, I guess I should do this. I don't know what my next video will be, and my inactivity for the past few months has been mostly due to my Mario video, which I've scrapped a million times, and if you want to read more about that, then I've left it in the description. So yeah, you can always read on that in the description of that video. Either way, I don't know what my plans are from now on. I will try to stick to, well, monthly uploads, or at least 2 a month, maybe 1 a month, you know, no real schedule. I don't find this as a job yet, so yeah, either way. Not sure what my video will be next, not sure what I'll be doing next, but all I know is that I'm going to be trying my best. Thank you for watching, folks, and well, see ya, sweet dreams.